British actress Vanessa Redgrave is probably best known by American audiences for her roles in films like Blow Up, Murder on the Orient Express, Julia, and Howard's End. She's quite an acclaimed and celebrated actress. She's been nominated for 6 Oscars, of which she's won 1, 13 Golden Globes, winning 2, and 6 Emmys, winning 2 more. Saying she's a force to be reckoned with on stage and screen is putting it lightly. And you could even say she's carrying on her family business by acting. Acting is a bit of a Redgrave family tradition, and clearly Vanessa is the one that's the most applauded member of her brood. Both of her late siblings, Lynn and Corin, were both actors as well. So was her daughter Natasha Richardson before she died in 2009. Vanessa's other daughter, Joely Richardson, is also an actress. Vanessa and her father, Michael Redgrave, both received the honorific title of CBE, or Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Vanessa Redgrave's vibrant life in the spotlight. Some might think notions of heritage and tradition sound kind of pretentious, but Vanessa Redgrave embodies both beautifully. The Redgraves have some pretty deep acting roots as well. Both of her grandparents were also actors. Then you had Vanessa's father, Michael, and his wife, Rachel Kempson. Both were very popular actors back in their day as well. Seeing as the Redgraves are basically acting royalty, you might assume they'd have a very conventional, tried and true take on acting and living in the public light. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the Redgraves have always shied away from embracing conformity. For one thing, Michael Redgrave and Vanessa's first husband were both bisexual during a time it wasn't as welcoming for LGBT performers to be out. Vanessa also gave one of the most politically explosive acceptance speeches in Academy Awards history, but we'll get to that in a minute. Everything about her life has strayed from the mainstream, but she's never let anyone else's opinions hold her back from being who she truly is. She subscribes to the philosophy that says, if people don't like what you have to say, they can just deal with it. This is who Vanessa Redgrave is and always has been. Rubbing elbows with famous friends. Vanessa was introduced to her future husband when she was still very young. Her mother was actually working with Joely Richardson as an understudy at the time. When they met, he had a profound effect on her journey of self-discovery. Previously, she had been a very conservative person, but his unorthodox, iconoclastic ways both intrigued and delighted her. As a whole new world opened up to her, she was introduced to movers and shakers like Charles Laughton, Paul Robeson, and Laurence Olivier. Famed writer Tennessee Williams would even call Vanessa the greatest actress of our time. Hey, by the way, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And keep watching to find out what Vanessa said in 1978 that almost destroyed her career. Her first lead role was a huge success. Like many other great actors who came before her, Vanessa spent most of her early career perfecting her craft on stage. She often appeared in Shakespearean plays that pushed her to excellence. In 1961, she portrayed Rosalind in a production of As You Like It, put on by the Royal Shakespeare Company. Throughout her career, she's made it a point to alternate her time back and forth on screen and on stage. The theater will always be dear to her heart, and she's played a lead role in over 35 productions in London's historic West End. In 1958, Vanessa made her big screen debut in a film called Behind the Mask, which starred her father as the lead. She landed her first lead role in a film in 1966 in the comedy Morgan. That performance even earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. She didn't even want to be an actor. Vanessa grew up wanting to be a dancer, not an actor. Unfortunately, it became clear very quickly she was simply too tall. After she realized her first plan wasn't going to work out, she decided to try her hand at acting instead. In 1966, she starred in Michelangelo Antonioni's Blow Up, and just like that, she was a household name. But it wasn't just Vanessa who made the film as good as it was. The film Vanessa enjoyed being a part of the most premiered in 1967. Starring in Josh Logan's musical CAMELOT was one of the most defining moments of her career. It's also the reason she's regarded as a national treasure back home in England. The post-CAMELOT years. Vanessa and Joely Richardson were married from 1962 to 67. They had 2 children together, Natasha and Joely. While on the set of CAMELOT, she met an Italian actor named Franco Nero. They ended up hitting it off and had a son named Carlo Gabriel Redgrave Nero. She and Franco got married in 2006, almost 4 decades after they first met. Vanessa spent most of the 70s and early 80s dating actor Timothy Dalton. After CAMELOT, she starred in A Quiet Place in the Country alongside Nero. She'd win her second Academy Award for her portrayal of Isadora Duncan in 1968's Isadora. In 1974, she joined the all-star cast of Murder on the Orient Express. She's opinionated and not ashamed of it. Even though she's always been in the spotlight, Vanessa has never been afraid to stray away from popular ways of thinking, and she's spoken out against the various injustices that exist in our world. She was an outspoken opponent of the Vietnam War and the war in Iraq, and even ran for office once as a member of the Trotskyist Workers' Revolutionary Party. In '78, Redgrave won an Oscar for portraying the title role in the film Julia. The film is about an anti-Nazi operative in World War II. While shooting the film, she produced another film called The Palestinian, which was made by 2 Palestinian students that Vanessa had lived with during the production of Julia. The most political speech in Oscar history. She was nominated for another Academy Award, and when Vanessa got up to give her acceptance speech for her role in Julia, she made several sharp comments about what she referred to as Zionist hoodlums that were attempting to suppress the film. As soon as she uttered those words, boos and gasps erupted from the audience. It's believed she was referring to members of the domestic terrorist organization, the Jewish Defense League, who were picketing out front of the ceremony. The comment was shocking. Although it's clear she was attempting to be pro-Palestinian, many in the audience interpreted her words as being anti-Semitic or anti-Israel in some way. Once the news hit the papers the next day, her reputation was further damaged. It's only because of her statue and glowing reputation in the film industry that she was able to continue to find success in Hollywood, although she no doubt missed out on several roles because of her words. Asked in 2018 if she regretted what she said during that speech, she explained she still believes in the words she said, and she was just doing her part in what had to be done. She not only rubbed Hollywood elites the wrong way, but she also ticked off the protesters picketing outside. The Palestinian was going to be shown at Doheny Plaza Theater in LA on June 15, 1976, but early that morning a bomb exploded in front of the theater. A member of the JDL was later convicted of the attack. From 1980 to today. It ruffled everyone's feathers again when Vanessa was hired by CBS to play real-life Nazi concentration camp survivor Fanya Fenelon in the 1980 TV film Playing for Time. Apparently, even Fenelon didn't want Redgrave to play her. Still, she won an Emmy for the part, and it was one of the highest-rated programs of the year. In the 80s, she focused on doing TV films and high-budget miniseries, but also found time to do theater. She sued the Boston Symphony Orchestra for $5 million in 1984 for breaking their contract with her prematurely over her political views. In the 90s, she had a string of small roles in several high-profile films like Howard's End, Mission Impossible, and Cradle Will Rock. In 2003, she won a Tony Award for her performance in The Long Day's Journey into Night. She followed that up with another Tony-nominated performance in 2007's The Year of Magical Thinking, and another for 2010's Driving Miss Daisy. She's still very politically involved. She donates a sizable chunk of her money to causes she believes in. She was elected to serve as UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in the mid-90s and famously declined the invitation to be made a dame in 1999. She almost died in 2015 of a massive heart attack. Later that year, she revealed her lungs are only functioning at 30% capacity due to emphysema. These days, she's living in a 2-bedroom apartment in West London. Even at 84, she has an active stage and screen presence with no indication she plans to stop soon. Which film do you think Vanessa Redgrave shined in the brightest, Julia or Blow Up? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.